Welcome to the show, Bumi Thomas. You are a contemporary Scottish-Nigerian, Afro Brazilian singer-songwriter with a fusion of folk, jazz, high life, blues, soul, and improvisation, telling stories about movement, joy, and humanity. You were born in Scotland and raised between Glasgow, uh, Kano, Lagos, and you're now based in London. You've crafted your music on the live circuit, sharing the stage with musical greats such as Tony Allen, Ginger Baker, Two-Face, to name just a few. There's loads more to talk about with you, Bumi. Thank you so much for joining us. And please do tell us more.
Wow, what would you like to know? Well, thank you for having me.
That's a pleasure.
It's absolutely wonderful. I was just saying to Skyler the other day that Music for Global Change initiative was sort of avant-garde in the sense that post-pandemic, we seem to get a better instinct and understanding of the role that music plays as catalyst for social change and also cultural and physical, metaphysical transformation. So it's an absolute joy to be here in conversation. Just re-examining the role that we play as creatives, music creators in either aligning perspectives or creating space for healing and release, and just expressing our craft with joy that has the power to elevate and transcend. And so, yeah, I'm so excited to be in dialogue with you right now.
How much joy do you get from writing social conscious music?
I'd say that it has always been my place of serenity, my place of a space of activation, like throughout my music writing and music expressing performing journey. In retrospect, I can see that music was always a sanctuary, even if it meant initially just playing a broken guitar with two strings, just finding home in that resonance. So being able to, initially I started off writing poetry. So it became a fabric for weaving in that poetry, and then the songs started to write themselves. And I must say that I am in a state of clarity and joy, and I think most connected to my essence as a creator or creative when I'm in the process of writing, performing, or creating music.
Which one do you like the best? Writing, performing?
They are different, aren't they, Skyler Jett? They are. I think I think that it's almost like going from inception to completion. There's an entire metamorphosis around it. So writing is just that is again the internals, like the inner voice being expressed or being brought into the material space. Recording it is a different environment because depending on your approach, it may feel rather methodical. There are times when it's very free form, but it's also a very rigid scientific space.
That's right.
So the margin of error diminishes, and so being able to be free within that structure is a skill that you learn over time. Whereas performing it, that's a really magical place because when you perform, time takes on a whole new quality.
That has something to do with music lovers in the house.
I think it has a lot to do with the audience and the exchange, but I think that even
That's what
just
I'm
in terms
saying.
of the chronological passage of time, when you're on stage, 1 minute can feel like an hour and vice versa. So there's a non-linearity that happens when you're connecting and you're sort of in such a powerful space that it defies this, that's what I'm looking for. I would say circadian rhythm. Circadian clock. It then becomes about your body rhythm and the rhythm of the people in the room and how you connect and converse with each other through music.
Music is emotion.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is, right?
Yes.
It's emotion, I love the part where when you're performing on stage and you don't want to stop that song because people are having so much fun.
Yes. I also really enjoy music as kind of collective memory, a collective experience. Like the song happened because we were all there, we all received it, we all expressed it, and therefore it evaporates after the completion, the final note, but the memory of it, the feeling of it lasts as long as it does, right?
Yeah, and and then especially if they put it all over the radio, and
Well,
you
that
know,
too, that helps.
like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I
See, I hate the word they. We could do it
hmm,
for ourselves, right?
true,
We can
true.
we can do it for ourselves. Who are we waiting for? No
Hmm.
reason to wait. We're doing a TV show right now. We're not making money at it. We're introducing people that need to be seen.
Mm.
Yes.
And that's a blessing in itself because we get to share that with people. Like, here's a forum where you can come talk about your feelings. But
Mm.
at the same time, I got to keep it in realm of the topic, which is music for global change. And
Yes.
what's your feeling? Well, let me ask you this: who are some of your social conscious music heroes?
My social conscious music heroes range from Vela Kuti to uh, Mary Makeba to Brenda
Yes,
Fassie to Nina Simone. I love Nina so much. I love her so much.
so
Um,
powerful.
to even Tracy Chapman, Revolution,
Yeah,
and
kind of
someone else that I
folkish.
think
Mm.
is very. I love folk. I love that folk genre. I also
Yeah,
really love. I love India Irie because she takes it into that spiritual transformation space. Like just in the feeling and the subjects. I remember being a teenager and some of the ideas that she was expressing were so pure and so validating and life affirming. Like a young black girl in the global space, sort of finding your way and not having to deal with stigmatization of your body or your hair or the
yeah.
spectrum of your possibilities. So for me personally, she played a massive role in kind of owning that space and saying it's okay to exist in your natural state and the world will embrace you. Um,
You got to see the
other
Nina Simone
Nina Simone,
documentary. That
Nina
Nina Simone,
Simone,
because this woman, yeah,
Nina Simone as the voice of like the civil rights movement that continues to resonate from generation to generation, understanding her
well,
story.
because she was
Uh,
revolutionary,
she's
right?
a revolutionary, absolutely. And her sense of
And
revolution and duty was born out of rejection, but also out of a greater consciousness and understanding of her
yeah,
power
but
and her presence.
think about how brilliant that was to go. I'm gonna use my music
Yeah,
to get my message across.
exactly,
And
exactly.
she pissed off a lot of people, but there was a lot of people going, you know what, sister, you telling us the truth,
Yeah.
It's the truth.
right? And
Yeah, she
it's
was.
so deep.
Yeah.
My attorney used to be her
Oh, I
attorney,
see. I see.
right? And he told me it took him a long time to get her to move back to the United States,
Yeah.
man. They wouldn't let her in
Really
because she was so,
volatile
but
and
Mm.
yeah,
provocative
yeah,
and
yeah.
defiant.
I
Yes.
say what you feel and feel what you say, right?
Yes. Yes.
And she did that. If you see that movie, it's deep. She didn't care what nobody thought. I'm gonna tell you the way it is.
Mm.
I love her for that, right?
Absolutely. I love it. I feel like fragments
So
of her story have been expressed. I mean, the music encapsulates it all, but I would still love to see a film that did justice to the totality of the different stages of her life and growth and evolution as a woman revolutionary, and also to get a sense of where she felt in the later years of her life. Like, did she feel like she achieved her mission? Not just
Mm.
based
what?
on her self expression, but based on the standard of the world or the state of the world when she left it.
Well, I mean, you see a lot of things that have changed since
Yeah.
which that she was fighting for back there, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But at the same time, you know, we're out here writing this music. Then it can change the world. The
Mm-hmm.
lyrical
Yeah.
content changed the world, and she's proven it, and a lot of others. Marvin Gaye and
Yeah.
John Lennon. There's a lot of them have
Sam
proven
Cooke.
just how powerful music really is, right?
Yes. And Harry Belafonte must be named.
Yes, he was way back
Absolutely.
there, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tom?
Well, just taking it back to your music there, Bumi. Your latest EP, "Broken Silence," let's not
Yes.
forget to mention, has reached #1 in the UK iTunes R&B charts and was described as strikingly original by London Jazz News as well as the single Black Child, which is featured on BBC Radio for Loose Ends. So some of your music's been right up there with, and obviously what you're writing about, is that from sort of, where do you get your inspirations? Of personal experience kind of things?
Yes, Broken Silence was definitely about my personal experience with, I suppose, location, dislocation, migration, identity, what it means to be a global citizen, and some of the boundaries that exist, be it in terms of policy, legislation, cultural hostility, in this case, the hostile environment policy, and how, as artists, we can transcend these constructs by staying unified and also recognizing the value of who we are and what we bring. To
very much a socially conscious kind of. Very much a socially conscious kind of track.
And very much, directly in response to what's going on, what was going on in the world at the time. So Black Child is about liberation of the mind and the body, irrespective of your circumstances. And in my case, it said, start where you stand and be courage itself, be courageous. Black Child, pride of the sun, Black Child, no need to run. And it just really addresses this whole notion of otherness and trying to find that state of belonging outside of yourself. It also addresses the notion of freedom of movement and permeating these borders, be them geographic or psychological or historical borders, and how through art we are able to have conversations, global conversations that can actually translate into positive action, policy, through awareness even, and help us, give us the tools that we need to build and design the world and the experiences that are progressive and for the future of the Black world.
I hear a lot of song titles in what you're talking about.
Really?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I can see.
Wow.
I can do that. Yeah.
Right?
Well,
you and I'm like doing my mental, right down the mental,
You watch, there'll be a song coming out of some list.
I'm only saying, right? But so what you working on right now?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I've been working on some really interesting projects. I just put out a single called Brave, Just Brave, and I have another one called The Rising Tide, which is due for release in a few weeks. Prior to that, I just worked on a really interesting project with some Brazilian female artists called Bem Viver, which means good life. And it was a really interesting project with the British Council of Brazil, and it's sort of fostering creative and cultural exchange between the UK, Brazil, and Nigeria. And it's really about a bunch of women getting together and listening to specialists in academia and culture and tourism and just your everyday person, and then translating those conversations into lyrics for a song and then performing it as a collective, recording it as a collective. And that piece of music has now been used as the official soundtrack for the festival. So
are you excited? Are you excited about going to perform it?
I am so excited about going to perform it. I am so excited about going to perform it. I am so excited about going to perform it. So fingers crossed everything aligns, but it's where I am in real time.
Well, see, this is the kind of thing, this synchronicity when it comes into effect, right? Yeah. And everything falls in place, right? The reaction makes another, and I love that because, like I say, you put it out to the world right now, and people heard you say that 3 times. I love it. I love it.
Thank you for recognizing that, Skyler.
Yep.
I'm only saying, right? Do you love it? I love it. I love it. But the beautiful thing is now when you feel like about a song that you write and nobody's heard it yet, right? Yes. And nobody's ever seen you perform it. That's what I love. Is like when you go out see an artist and go like, you know what? I know I got the record, but I want to see that person sing it to me. Yes. right? And the great entertainment, they look out in the audience and get eye contact and all that stuff like that with people, and they spend their money. That's what I want to go see. Now they want to hear you sing it like you singing it for the first time to them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
every night, right? Wherever you go, that's real talk right there, right? I mean, I remember I wrote some songs on Al Jarreau's record, right?
Okay.
And I said, Al, man, wow, you play jazz? He said, yeah, man, Sky, it doesn't make as much money as the rock and R&B and stuff like that. He says, but I've been able to put my kids through college and buy a couple of houses on jazz.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? So he said, don't worry about none of that. Just get out. You got to get out in front of people. That's how he's making his money. It's putting people in the seats, right? And that's only people do it now because streaming, there's no money in streaming at all.
It's like
right?
micro.
So you got to go out and get in front of people.
Yeah, performing is the key.
That's right.
You're right. You're right. Spot on.
Speaking of performance, I've got to mention this, Bumi. I can't not mention the sort of venues that you've performed at. You've performed at Ronnie Scott's in the UK in London. You've performed also in the London Palladium and the Royal Albert Hall, to name just some of the huge venues. I mean, what was it like playing in the Royal Albert Hall, for example? That must have been incredible.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was like heavenly.
Yeah.
It was heavenly.
Wow.
It was quite a special moment.
Yeah.
How could you sleep the night before?
I could.
Really?
I love my sleep. I love my sleep. Yeah. If I can't really process something, I'd rather dream it than like wake up, than not sleep because of it. It's better for me to work it out in the superconscious or in the dream than to lose sleep and wake up cranky and still not resolved.
Oh my God.
But I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's about the excitement. I suppose maybe it was difficult for me to sleep after because there was still so much adrenaline and bliss in my system that I just wanted to ride the wave out.
Yeah, and you walk out there and you got all those people in front of you, right?
Yeah.
That's an experience in itself, right?
I mean, that's where it's kind of, I suppose, that moment of clarity, in the sense that, like, I don't get nervous in front of large crowds. It's like, it feels really familiar. And that's why I know that it's something that it's like a safe space. That's for me the affirmation that it's something that I'm born to do, because I haven't had any formal training or anything like that. Music sort of found me. And even when things are amplified in that way, I suppose it feels even more natural. So that's something I'm very, very thankful for. Yeah.
Like I said, when you get in front of people, and I'll take it to the old days, like you sing the last song of the night, and everybody's walking out and stuff like that, right? But when you put a song on them that they gonna be singing when they walk out of the place, right? And then see, they didn't have internet back then. You know what I mean? Now you can tell somebody, hey, you should see this. It's online right now. We didn't have that kind of access before, right?
Because, like you said, you've said this before, Skyler, whereby even at a concert or something like that, you can say to somebody with their mobile phone, "Oh, go and download my latest track, or go and see something right there." And then, as you're performing it, someone can say, "Right, I want to listen to that now."
Yeah. Yeah,
it's called instant gratification. That's what they call it. Right? So if you're looking out there, that's what it is. Like you're looking out there and you say, "Hey, did you like that song?" Because if you're watching them from on the stage, you can see if they're into it or not, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh man, they hyped up on that. So soon as it's over, you go, "Did you like that? Text me right now. You got it. You got paid." They never moved from their spot.
It's true.
We didn't have that before, right?
No.
That's true. No. That's very true. So that's the whole.
You might walk out there with another 700, 800.
But this is the beauty of the of I suppose the transformation and like embracing the role that technology plays in the creative process of creative exchange, because in some ways it does facilitate and, you know, what's what I'm looking for, expedite connection.
Yeah.
And in some spaces it does the opposite, because there's such an infinite stream of content that's constantly being generated that you may not really have a deep connection with an artist that you love, because there are too many distractions. So it's at what times do we choose to use technology to enhance those connections? Like I said, they're in the live moment where you've just played it and they're still fully present in the experience. You say, give the call to action, and understanding that. Yes, I agree.
See that's how I plan to have my Music for Global Change festivals, right? It's going to be great music from new artists, right? And you give them a chance to get out there like that. And the cool thing about it is we can help each other out now, right? Because you keep bringing people in. You bring one person, bring 10 people, the next person bring 10 people, and eventually the numbers go add up, right? And they go, wow, it's a new kind of thing going on. It's social conscious events, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to take off. I got a lot of people endorsing what we're doing right now. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And like I said at the beginning of this conversation, it's the right time. So the seeds that you've planted, and now the current time is the right soil. And there's so many digital natives that process of sort of expansion becomes organic. And that's ideally what you want.
It's beautiful, Tom.
Well, I just want to ask how people, I suppose, linking slightly with what we were just mentioning about technology, social media and so on. Are you available to be seen on social media? How do people get in touch with you and see what it is that you're doing?
I am on social media. I'm on Instagram as Bumi Sees, which is BUNISWS. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal. So a few of the general DSPs. I'm also on, I think that's me all SM'd out, actually. I've got a YouTube channel as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Good stuff. That's brilliant. What I'll do is I'll put some links to some of those in the description of our video here, so people can go off and check that out as well.
Okay, sounds wonderful.
Bumi,
Skyler,
thank you for the privilege of your time. I love you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.
So much love to you. Thank you for the privilege of your time as well. It's been a wonderful conversation. And I just wish you all the best with this. I'm excited.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.